Welcome to Carville. This was once a plantation called Indian Camp. The Indians are long gone from Louisiana, nearly extinct, I think. We're here now. I am Sister Paria. I want to be the first to welcome you to the end of the life you have left behind. You will now spend the remainder of your years of natural life, and may God grant you many of them on these grounds, the only facility of its kind in the United States. I should tell you, and we have plenty of time. Most people leave their names behind when they enter here. It just seems cleaner that way. You may choose any name you like as long as it isn't blasphemous, or you may find it simpler to just go by the number we assign you. Who you were is not important. You are now patient number 947, part of a family now that was started here back on a night in 1904 when 4 patients, they were almost like colonists really, were deposited on the banks of the Mississippi, having come upriver from New Orleans on a coal barge, as it was against the law for them to use any type of public transportation. Those first patients had to live in one of the slave cabins. This beautiful plantation home was in ruins then. They even had to use another slave cabin as their place of worship. You will now find this a remarkable place. We have every convenience and the best in medical care. There's even a Protestant church. Family and friends will be allowed to visit, though if truth be told, they rarely do. We are a bit in the middle of nowhere here. Oh, and don't feel awkward about the number. You'll get used to it. Everybody does. In fact, if you walk out back under the pecans, you'll find our cemetery, and that most of the stones have only numbers on them. The shade is very cool out there, and we will all rest under the pecans. You will shortly have a medical examination. I see you are in the very early stages of the disease. It says you have only one spot on your right thigh, about the size of a dime, and yet that's changed everything, hasn't it? Honey, you were brave not to run away. Some do after the first diagnosis, and that does no one any good, as we still don't know how it spreads, how to cure it, or how to make a vaccine. Heavens, we don't even have a test to see if someone is part of the 95% of the population who seem to be naturally immune. But our brave scientists work on it day and night. God bless them. They prefer to use the name Hansens Disease. We try not to use the word leprosy here, and especially not leper. It feels like a judgment without the trial, don't it? Your life will be trial enough, my dear. Yes, I am sorry about how you came here, but doctors are required to report infection as soon as they recognize it. I see they took you right there from his office, told your parents later. Government does have the right to quarantine you immediately and send you here, under force if necessary, for as long as they see fit, which, without a cure, will mean the rest of your life. I know, honey, it's hard when you're young, but be thankful for that. We have spouses separated from each other, young children taken from parents, even nursing babies left behind when their mothers are sent here. Only the infected are allowed to live in this place. We know so little. It's best that way. You will soon discover that we have an almost utopian society here. There are so many freedoms. Freedom of worship, freedom of expression. We even have our own newspaper, The Star, though most outsiders are afraid to subscribe to it, afraid of catching something. Can you imagine? As if it could be contagious, like new ideas or new ways of thinking. I'm sure they'll want to interview you as a new arrival to our community. And you even have the freedom to have fun. We do a Mardi Gras parade and ball every year. The patients love dressing up as someone else and wearing a mask while marching through the hallways. We have 4 miles of covered walkways that connect all our buildings into one world. So we never even have to step outside in case that fresh air becomes too much for you. And unlike the world out there, we have no segregation. Men and women live in separate buildings, of course, though some marry each other and we give them special accommodation. I mean to say, we do not segregate by race. A disease has made you equal. The color of your skin becomes the least of your worries here. Just having skin that isn't cracked and bleeding and pussing every day can be miracle enough. You see, honey, we are all infected here with truth. Welcome to Carville.